Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore is not fantastic at all. Cheap wording on my part for a very, very, very cheap movie. Let's not waste time today. Let's get right into this. This movie is not good. It is really, really not good. It is. Let me break it down. Let's go back throughout these movies. There are multiple plot threads that the first movie and the second movie set up that have just been tossed aside completely in this movie. So, big bad Credence, played by Ezra Miller, who was one of the key things in the last movie, revealed as a Dumbledore. Yeah, tossed aside. Queenie, played by my good friend Alison Sudol, who's been tempted by evil. That's all been tossed aside now. Who cares? Let's make Queenie a complete side character. Okay, what was the point of doing the whole big bad going evil then if she's not gonna fucking do anything in this movie? We've seen all this before, both in the Wizarding world, in the Potter world, and outside. There was one scene particular in the German Ministry of Magic where there was all these like cups and teacups and plates and knives and saucers. And I was like, yo, this feels very Sword in the Stone. You know, when Merlin's packing his whole house into his bag. It kind of felt like that. I'm all for a tip of the hat, but give me some novelty, something new. There was nothing new in this movie. The odd fantastic beast, there was the odd new beast here and there. They weren't that fantastic. It was just like, okay, cool. That is a deer with a mustache. It's called a chillin in this movie. Like, whatever, nothing new. Do you know what it's like? It's like they ejaculated a nostalgia trip onto you. And if that's as disgusting as it sounds, that accurately does sum up this movie. It's literally the worst case of memberberry pie I have seen for a long, long time. The nostalgia is so cheap. They like Hogwarts. Remember Hogwarts? Hogwarts Express. Remember Hogwarts Express? The Room of Requirement. Minerva McGonagall.
Oh, I remember.
Let's just ejaculate them all into the audience's face. Let's make them member.
I remember.
Let's have them all in there. But do they actually have any relevance to the overall narrative that's going on? No. Now, when you put one or two in there, yes, it becomes fan service. It's like, oh, cool, Minerva McGonagall. But it's like, when that becomes your main thing throughout the movie, it becomes cheap. It's like, okay, we've got a weak story. Let's mask it with the fact that we've got these old things that people love from the original Harry Potter movies. The Room of Requirement scene in particular. I'm not going to spoil anything big in terms of plot here. Don't worry. But there's a scene where they go into the Room of Requirement, which is so painfully, obviously a please like us gesture. Basically, they go into the room, and we all know by this stage the Room of Requirement. Look at Order of the Phoenix. The Room of Requirement appears when the students or people need it for something to remain hidden, right? Now, they go into the Room of Requirement to use a portkey and to divvy out copies of Newt Scamander's bag. Why they have copies of Newt Scamander's bag, I won't spoil. I'll leave that to you. But essentially, this is in Hogwarts. They're safe. They can divvy out the bags pretty openly. And using a portkey, at this point in the movie, I believe they've already used the portkey 2 or 3 times. And my God, did they tell you, that was a portkey, that was a portkey, that was a portkey. So I got it. Use the portkey. So what was the point of going to the Room of Requirement? There actually wasn't any, because portkeys have been seen, and sharing bags was like, okay, nothing actually happened in the Room of Requirement. So why did we use the Room of Requirement? There was absolutely no point for it other than nostalgia ejaculate. The comedy felt forced.
We're going to need some help.
So much so that in an audience which had a lot of parents and children, it was crickets. It was crickets during the comedy scenes. That you got the odd chuckle here and there, but you could tell the movie was made. I hope they laugh at this point. Oh, God. And the new characters being introduced are so one note unforgettable. So much so that I've never been a big fan of the Fantastic Beasts characters up until this point. But My God, it actually got me to a point where I was missing the Fantastic Beasts characters because of how bad these new One Note characters are. They just distract from the main plot. Some of these characters, I think, aren't even named, and yet they appear repeatedly throughout the movie. It seems the writers didn't even care to name them. So my question is, if the writers don't care, why the hell should I care as an audience member? As for the main plot, do you know what? It's so vapid, I probably couldn't even tell you at this point what the secrets of Dumbledore are, other than the fact that he gay. They very clearly address the fact that he gay in this movie, and it's like, that's fine. Love that. I love the fact that we're doing a bit of diversity in Harry Potter, and it doesn't feel forced. The Dumbledore and Grindelwald, while not developed at all, it's very much, if you know, you know. It did serve the overall narrative, but what his secrets are, you know what? Less than 24 hours on, I couldn't tell you. This plot is like someone watched the Star Wars prequels and thought the best parts were the trade talks.
I object. There is no proof.
This movie is literally just a slow burn wizarding election without any drama. And how is it all resolved? Without giving away any finer details, the power of love, the laziest get out of jail for free card, love answers all questions that BS big blockbusters just love to recycle. It's lame. It's lazy. But it's a kid's movie. I hear a lot of you are going to be saying, it's a kid's movie. It's not made for adults. Well, it's way too slow and boring to be entertaining for kids, and it's completely void of substance for adults. And this movie just offers nothing. It's not even a mindless popcorn movie because little to nothing happens in this movie. It's like, do you know what it's like? It's like that god-awful Clash of the Titans remake that came out a few years ago. If you're a lover of Greek mythology in that movie, there's plenty of subject matter inside that you know and you love. You got the Kraken, you got Medusa, all cool stuff, but it's so poorly presented. Like this movie, it's all stuff you know and love, but it's so poorly presented and so carelessly developed that this film just boils down to a quick cash grab and a means to get Potter fans to hand over their money. That's all this is. The two shining lights in this movie, though, are first of all Mads Mikkelsen, who he's always just awesome. I'm not saying anything new at this point. The issue we've got is that he looks nothing like Johnny Depp from the previous movie. I'm not talking about the man, I'm talking about the character. Gone is the mad platinum blonde hair. Gone are the David Bowie eyes. We're essentially left with man in suit, or Mads in suit. I'm all for recasting, but at least try and have some consistency with the depiction and the aesthetic of the actual character that has been shown to us up until this point. Like, what was wrong with giving Mads blonde hair and David Bowie eyes? Nothing. The second great thing, Jacob Kowalski. He's great. Every scene he's in, he is gold. But in a movie about magic, the fact that the best part of it is the non-magical part, yeah, that irony is not lost on me.